anxious attachment style patterns and behavior can be problematic as they come as a reaction to fear of abandonment, not feeling good enough, need for constant validation, assurances, and there are areas where this overlaps with toxic behaviors and overlaps with behaviors characterized by people with narcissistic personality styles. This is not to say that people with anxious attachment style are narcissistic. It is to say that these type of behaviors are opportunities for improvement. And if the person is unable to really recognize that these behaviors are problematic, then that is a red flag. There's also an overlap where narcissists could have attachment that's anxious, and it's more common with vulnerable or covert narcissists. First area I want to call out is the protest behavior. When a person with anxious attachment style gets rejected, it's common that they'll over-engage. They'll start constantly texting their partner or calling their partner and become really intrusive, although their partner does not want them. So therefore, it's a violation of boundaries. And violation of boundaries is something that people that are narcissistic will do. And even though this comes from activation of that fear of abandonment, I think it's opportunity for that person to know when the other person does not want them and be able to accept that, as opposed to overly engaging with behavior that was already rejected. Second area I want to call out is being emotionally dysregulated. People with anxious attachment style, when they are in the position where they don't feel safe and that fear of abandonment is activated, they feel high levels of anxiety and are unable to soothe that anxiety, are more likely to be reactive and to cause fights and lash out on their partners. And that opportunity there is to find the ways to soothe themselves, reassure themselves, and if not healed or worked on, it's really problematic. We know that people with narcissistic personality style are emotionally dysregulated and will lash out on their partner and put them down and validate them and do a lot more. But it's also like when their narcissistic wound gets activated, they're more likely to rage and just be a really mean and terrible person. Third area I want to call out is manipulative behaviors like being passive aggressive. Often people with anxious attachment style will need constant reassurances, and if something is off, will not engage in direct communication, but will rather ask passive-aggressive questions. Instead of learning to openly express their needs, engaging in passive-aggressive behaviors can be really problematic and toxic for a partner. Narcissists will do this pretty much the same thing, especially vulnerable narcissists, where they will constantly bait their partners with passive-aggressive behavior, so there's an overlap there too. And the fourth overlap is instead of soothing your own anxiety, trying to control the outcomes, and with that trying to control the partner, which, if we know anything about narcissistic relationships, narcissists will always try to dominate and control their partner as well. So those are some of the overlaps between narcissistic personality style and anxious attachment style. Like I said, in no means does it mean if you have anxious attachment style that you're automatically narcissist. In most cases, you are not. It's just that these areas are the opportunity for improvement, and because it all comes from the triggers of abandonment and also not feeling like good enough. It's all about finding a journey of self-acceptance that will heal these areas, and it takes an active work and an active healing process.